Welcome back. I haven't been shooting too much video lately because it's all been the same kind of work. Right out of the view of the camera here, I have a bench with all these grinding and brushing and sanding implements and the recent tools of the trade for this body work going on behind me are this Rust-Lick B. It's a rust inhibitor. Some Eastwood 2-part epoxy primer that I have like 1/3 of the can left. Various sprayers for distribution of said product. And the shell, which is coming along, but coming along slowly. What I found I have to do is like take off the remaining seam sealer, which I'll show you, and once that's done, make sure the surface has no flash rust on it, clean it with acetone, prime it. So I'll do that like by section, because if I did one process on the whole car might flash rust as I'm waiting to get all the seam sealer off. So it hasn't made for exceptionally interesting video. Haven't been recording it much. This is actually session number 15 that I'm on now. And if I can free the camera from the tripod here, which I can't really seem to do, I can show you. So, you know, everybody's asking, well, why didn't you get this taken care of? Like, doesn't an acid dipping take care of this? And yeah, it should. It seems like depending on what chemical this place used, or whatever another place might use, you might get all of it out. But in the case of my car, this place didn't get all of it out. So I am left to get the remainder myself. As I've continued to go along and do this job, I've found some advantages to that actually. One is that the seam sealer remains in areas that I can't reach. So if I can't remove it, that probably means I can't redo it. So if all of it were once removed by an acid dip, there might be areas that I couldn't redo. For example, this one is just one you can see. This little seam here, I'm going to leave because where it was once like gooped out everywhere, it's just real clean along the trunk seam now. And I'm going to leave that because otherwise I would just end up redoing it. Were the acid dipper to have got all of this out, I would have a void in there, maybe something trapped in there, chemicals, who knows what. But now at least I know there's nothing in there. So now what's left back here, this is a part of the old roll cage. I'm cutting that bar and that bar out, but I'm leaving that one. There's a lot of seam sealer in here still, but with this tool, it's actually quite easy to get off on flat surfaces. The hard part are these wells down here, but overall, this is looking pretty good, and I'm making progress. What else? Yeah, once that's done, I'll get everything primed. I have a little bit of rust repair to do down here in the bottom. This bracket, it's supposed to be a cumbersome thing to look at. This toe bracket here needs to come off to fix that properly. So I'll have to cut the welds. Get a light, show you. Like this weld here and that weld here, I'll cut with a little grinder. Take this panel off, repair that void, then weld that back on. But otherwise it's looking good down here. That was just one complication that I had. I got some floor plates here. Those will get tack welded in for a nice factory look. And we go on and on. I mean, you can see some examples of flash rust up here. Fortunately, this all comes off with a little red Brillo pad, but you know, you don't want this to go on forever because it's harder and harder to get off the longer you let it go. So that's what I'm doing. This is where this project's at. After this round, when I'm satisfied I've done everything I can, this thing will be shipping off to Victor. And I think what that looks like is the rear air jack sleeves will be installed. the rest of the cage will be removed, and that's it. And then what he's gonna do, I primed this roof for now. I still need to like just sand it. I just did it pretty quick just so it wouldn't get rusty. I took it down to the metal before I did that. After that, there's some seat brackets over here somewhere have to go in. These are the air jack sleeves. These are strut tops that need to go on the car. So a lot of little things to do. This weekend I'm going down to Gridlife to see a lot of friends, help out Bill. He's racing his dad's CSL 3.0, and Tommy's racing my old Evo. What else? My friend TJ is going to be there, my friend Cole, a whole bunch of people from motorsports will be there. So we'll take this thing down. I just got to get the dust off it, but it's otherwise ready to go. And then these are gearbox spares. I think Bill's dad wants to buy the innards from this Getrag. I'm going to save that case when the other one is off. Heading to Samsonas now. This is my oscillating tool. This is what it looks like to suffer. See if I can get the light good for here. So here's like a big sheet. You get the idea. This stuff all comes off, and this little pointed blade gets the nooks and crannies pretty well. So I've just been going on like this over and over, then vacuuming it out, and then cleaning it off. Look at this mega chunk here. This is underneath what they call the battery tray, but it's like not all E30s have the battery up here, but this thing still exists. So the first step is to get the globs out. You can see I ran this thing here and then here, and this thing should probably come out a little more detailed. Then I'll get the cookie out and get the rest of it off. But it's everywhere, like down here, just never ends. This is my office, and these are the implements of destruction here. We just have an air hose to clean things off. This oscillating tool here, various tips, a wire brush on a straight die grinder, sander. Megan did so much good work here, it's awesome. Quality here, so I'm going to try to match that. And I used to have an art teacher that would always make us clean up before the end of the period. And you do it with this clapping, say stop work, clean up, put it away. It's never, that was 7th grade, it's never left me. So like a big part of all this stuff is cleaning. Every time I finish work for the day, I clean the shelf, all of it. Vacuum the inside. Right now I'm cleaning it because I'm going to prime it, but before that I vacuum up everything. Because it just feels good to start fresh the next time, not with a mess. You know where all your tools are. It's really nice to start a clean slate, clean mind. So this is acetone. There were some spots of rust coming in on the center and here. For some reason, not over there. So now I'm just cleaning it. I'll get one more spray down with air hose, and we'll prime it. That'll be the last thing I do today. I cleaned up the front up here. Sorry it's so dark. I have no idea what's going on with this camera. I don't know know how to use it at all, despite like trying for many hours to figure it out. I also learned that Sony has no camera. It has like a proprietary microphone shoe, so you can't get a great mic except for the one that slips in the shoe. You can do fancy stuff like get a separate mic and then sync the audio and the video, but I'm already so reluctant to edit videos that I think adding a layer of complexity will be even worse. Anyway, I'm gonna finish cleaning this, I'm gonna prime it, and we're gonna be done for the day. Not done. This is weird, like some under the tarp outside, but whatever. It's good, it's clean. There's no rust spots anymore. It's a pain. I'm gonna prime this now. I'm gonna prime the back of the seat, like that firewall back there, and at the same time. So getting 2 major spots done today. This was super hard. All these little cracks and crevices and details in there, but it's done, so that's good. I'm not sure if I've showed this before, but this is my hack methodology for mixing epoxy primer. First of all, I like to shake it before I open it because it gets settled, especially if it's been a while, which it usually has. And then you get your measurements on your mixing cup here. They're like really deceptive because you go to the 1-to-1 ratio, and it's hard to like figure out your numbers. It's not just like 1-1. So what I'm going to do is 4-4. Actually, I'll go 5-5. Let's go all the way. I'm going to have to order more epoxy soon. It's weird. The distances on the cups are deceptive, is what I'm saying. Like, we know the diameter is small down here, yet that's the 5, and it increases, and it's like almost equidistant. It's not, but it looks it. Anyway. Talking logs. Kind of rushing to get this done. I'm kind of exhausted. Rode my bike 70 miles today and then did this for 4 hours. So that's where we're at right now. Okay. Shake it. That's just like step 1. Give it a shake. This one's harder to pour. Usually spills a little bit. I don't know why they're not just both in a thing. So now we're going to take this one to 5. I don't know if it's on the screen or not. Bingo. Get these mixing sticks. And I'll usually like shake it in the air gun too. It mixes the 2 parts quite easily. This is like, there's never chunks. It's just nice. It's a nice quality product. Okay, I'm only gonna do 1 today, so please cover that. This gun is clean. I clean it every time. So I don't have to worry about that. Nothing's stuck. Pour it in the gun. Put my top on. Clean the water out of my compressor real quick before I start. And I usually give it a little shake here. There's a regulator on here so I can regulate the air down. This is highly recommended. So you're not painting with 100 psi of air. So we take this guy over here. This thing's been running all day. Let the water out of the line so we don't mix water in with our paint. Then I'll start, but I'm going to move the camera first so you can see this process. Alright, so that's all cleaned with acetone. All the surface rust is off it, as well as up front there on the other side of the firewall. We're going to spray it now. We're going to prime it real quick and then clean up. There's obviously like corners down there that I need to do still, but that'll be for later. So let's get the equipment ready. I try to paint from the middle out because you're reaching in and you want the hose to hit anything, so you get the middle and you work out. And I try not to let the compressor run for too long because you want the CFM, so you want to, this is just not proven by any fact at all, but keep the pressure up essentially. So I don't want to run the compressor down to 20 PSI and want 25 or 30 on the gun. So I won't do super long cycles between spraying. So now the compressor stopped, I'll start again. I'm almost done with this part. I can move on to the firewall. This is coat 1 at least. I'll probably do a couple coats here. This gun is so nice. It's the Eastwood gun. Makes things really easy. And the primer's good too. Some of this is going to get ground off for chassis mods and also further cleaning, but right now my objective is to just protect this metal. I'm also not wearing a mask, which is not highly recommended here at all. I have worn one the whole time, but it's hard to talk with it on, and I'm right like half outside, like the door's open and I'm right there. Actually, it doesn't smell that much, so. Okay, moving on to the firewall. I've got this tarp over the outside of the house here, outside of the barn. So leaves don't fall on me. Let's try to get a view here. It's not too bad. It's better. So, see, it's super shiny. It's looking good. I talked to a guy on YouTube about this who has an E30. You know, I was commiserating with him about how long this takes. He said it took him 3 months to strip his shell. So, guess I feel a little better. I guarantee 2 things. One thing, that's the light sucks. The second thing is that the air compressor is going to come on and make this video super loud. So there's, I guess, something. So here we go. Let's lay it down. Don't go too thick. I'm not claiming to be an expert at this in any way. All the dust is off it. It's totally clean. No acetone. This piece of the roll cage that I'm leaving in because they didn't take the sound deadening out. I also started a corner repair down here. I'll talk about that more later, but that's for this week maybe. But definitely very satisfied with today. It's crazy the amount of time it takes to set up. I painted the back here and also under here and the insides of the fenders as well. Anyway, the setup time is so long. Son of a bitch, right in the primer. Let's try. You really need to put in some time to make it worthwhile because the setup is so long. Turning off my lights, signing off. Stop, work, clean up, put it away. Up. It's a funny thing, you have to get like a whole lot of work done to justify the 2 things on each end. What I usually do is just put everything sort of back and then I'll clean it after.